Oh,
I have to tell you, I have to tell you, and the least surprising thing I'll say today is that law school did not prepare me for my career. So
yeah, no, I mean, do any of us know when we're like deer in headlights for those first few years? We're just like going with the flow, trying to not walk into traffic. You
it's
know,
like, what a system. Like, let's start with the most difficult classes first and see who can survive long enough to actually graduate, right?
it is. It is. Well, that's a good transition into, maybe advice you've got for current law students. What would you say is like your best advice of law school and then like what to expect when you graduate?
Well, I think typical lawyer answer would be the same thing my dad said to me is don't do it, right? But
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I think the thing about law school is, I guess it's different depending on what your experience is. Like, are you going to be a full-time day student, or like I worked all day and then I went to school at night, so I had a little different outlook. I think the biggest thing I saw is like if you're going to do this, like you got to want to practice law at the end of it, right? It's a lot of work and a lot of commitment for you to like get out, and then people are like, oh, I didn't even take the bar exam. Like, what
Right.
was the you made yourself miserable for all this period of time. You've accomplished this great thing. Like, see it to the finish line. Like, being a lawyer, and this is one of the reasons I did it. Like, being a lawyer is never going to hurt you in your life. Like, being able to read a contract and understand it and negotiate it, kind of like no matter what you're doing in your life, that's always going to be a good skill set for you to have. So I think that take out of law school that you will take tools with you that you can use for the rest of your career, no matter what you decide to do. And I think, it's important for you to think when you're a law student, like, what do I want to do? Because this job, even when you do what you like, is difficult, and for any number of reasons, but it's particularly hard if you don't like what you're doing and getting up out of bed every day. So, make sure you have a focus on areas of practice that you think you might like. Make sure that you have the stomach for them, because there's a lot of dirty business that goes on, and carrying a lot of people's water all day long. So make sure you're doing something that you're passionate about while you're doing that. And I think, if you follow that, you'll end up in ideally in a practice area. That's something that you want to do. And the hardest thing is it's so easy to say, but the truth really is it's not about the amount of money that you make in this career. You can make a ton of money. You will hate your job every single day, right? You got to find what you like and do what you're passionate about. And then when you get results for people about something that you're passionate about, it's going to be so much more rewarding than any check could be for you. That's the biggest takeaway for me. Do what you love and don't worry about getting paid. Like, the client book and stuff will come. Be an honest person and do what you like, and then your practice will develop on its own.
Yeah, and I think that's such great advice. I couldn't agree with it more because, some of these, people watching are either going to be new attorneys, even seasoned attorneys, but even if you love what you're doing, I don't know if you agree with this, but even if you love what you're doing, you're going to have days you just hate, weeks, months, sometimes you just hate the work. And so you really do need to have that passion to keep driving you, because we're dealing with people's problems all day. Right?
It's brutal. And, it's so funny because, like, I work with my dad and I'll get all the old guy adages, right? But, one of his closest friends or attorney told me when I first became a lawyer, he said, what you have to understand about this business is anytime you're dealing with a client, chances are it's probably the most important thing that's going on in their life. Whether it's super important to you or not, the average person doesn't need an attorney. So if they have an attorney involved in their life for some reason, then it's probably something that they're up thinking about at night. It's probably, something major related to their business or their finances, right? So it's always carries a high stress situation. And you have to understand that when they come in to do an initial consult with you, right? They come in and like, hey, this is my problem over here, and I'm sitting over here. But by the time they leave, their problem is now over here with me. They're just going to get up and leave and go back to doing whatever they're doing in their life. And now all of that water now has come on me. So I have assumed their problem, even if I didn't intend to do that. It's just like the nature of the beast of being in the business. So that's why I can't emphasize it enough. If you're going to carry other people's water, you better at least be happy what you're doing while you're doing it, because otherwise you're going to be miserable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know. I think that's amazing advice for people. And, in law school, I think that you get so focused on the curriculum, you don't think about the interpersonal relationships. I think that law school, still around the country, fails a lot to prepare people for clients.